So anyway, I was doing the new opening for the War of the Planet of the Apes video that I was doing.
Yeah, that's so mint.
Right? Wait. Anyway, so like I had like rain effects and this fog effect down in there.
Oh, fog effects are mint, yo.
And then like I had gunfire and monkey sounds. And
Monkey sounds. Mint.
What is mint? Why do you keep saying mint? What's mint?
Everything's mint, Butler. Everything. Everything I say is mint. And what else is mint?
Am I mint?
No. If you have to ask if you're mint, then you ain't it.
Ugh.
We're talking about Super 8.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Butler.
And I'm Mike Field.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema Podcast. Each episode, we highlight a film that seems to be forgotten by audiences, whether it be because a more popular movie was released at the same time or the film simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the movie or maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy our podcast, we want to hear from you. We're available on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Our podcast is available on all platforms with a backlog of over 250 episodes for your listening and now watching pleasure.
You wanted to say, you never know, you might find your own forgotten
I
gem.
did, and then I was like,
I don't even know why it's not in the new one. I don't even know why.
I don't know either.
What's going on?
Nothing, I was just filming a little short film about zombies, and then I saw this train coming. I was like, oh, production value. And then, the train exploded, almost murdered me. Yep. I got a cool shot of an alien, though, and a nice little vibrating Rubik's Cube.
Rubik's Cube? Oh, yeah.
That's what those things kind of look like.
I guess. Hey, we're doing Super 8. This is a movie, actually, that we're doing Super 8. Sorry, I rumbled that. This is actually a movie that would have been a perfect film for our Forgotten Summer season, which I don't even remember what number that was. 7?
7 or 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is like a really solid summer film.
Yeah, well, I think that's why we chose a lot of the movies we chose this season was because we were coming back. It was like our rebirths. We wanted to do something fun. It was the summertime. So
rising from the ashes.
Yeah. So I think we purposely tried to find more fun films to scatter in.
More fun film. Really? More fun films? Remind you of The Killing Fields? Although I love that film, so I'm not going to.
I mean, like I said, it's scattered in.
Scattered. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the film and then talk about what we thought about it and all that good stuff. Did we see this film together?
Yeah.
In the theater? So, IMAX?
Yes, it was an IMAX film. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Super 8 has a runtime of 112 minutes. It's rated PG-13. Production budget of $50 million. It came out on June 10th, 2011, which was a Friday. Opening weekend, it did $35 million. Domestic, its all total domestic was $127 million. International, $133 million for a worldwide total of $260 million. Production company was Amblin Entertainment and Bad Robot, and distributed by Paramount Pictures. So I said it came out on the 10th of June. Let's go back a week to June 3rd. And you had a wide release of X-Men First Class, which I think we both like that.
That movie is a very good one.
That was the only movie that came out in a wide release that week. The week of the 10th, you had up against Super 8, Judy Moody and the Not Bummer Summer, which I've actually seen, and Midnight in Paris, which I enjoy. You never saw Midnight in Paris. It's a Woody Allen film where he kind of goes back.
Goes back into. I've seen pieces of it, but I'm not a huge Woody Allen guy.
I know you're not. Limited release of The Trip and Troll Hunter. Now on the 14th, which is the Wednesday, you had a limited release of this is when they started doing the Lord of the Rings re-releases.
Okay.
In honor of the 40th anniversary of the book, I believe. So you had Fellowship of the Rings in this week. And I mean, it did business, but it didn't do enough business to kind of like put a dent in anything else. The 17th, the Friday after this film came out, June 17th, you had a wide release of Butler's favorite film, Green Lantern, Mr. Popper's Penguins, and The Art of Getting By. So not a great, when you look back, not really a great, except X-Men, probably a good spot for Super 8 to be in, but
yeah,
not really.
I mean, there was a lot of hype behind Green Lantern though.
And it was busy. I mean, it just didn't have any.
It fizzled because it wasn't very good, but there was a lot of, they must have done, the marketing budget for Green Lantern must have been at least the budget, if not more. That was huge.
Not a great film.
No.
This film, Super 8, was written and directed by JJ Abrams. Abrams has directed MI3, Mission Impossible 3, Star Trek, the new Star Trek from 2009, Star Wars The Force Awakens, and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker when they called him back. He's written, I'm going to give you some of the stuff he's written older regarding Henry, Taking Care of Business, and Armageddon. Cinematographer was Larry Fong, who's done Watchmen, Kong Skull Island, and The Predator. Composer was Michael Giacchino. We just had this discussion. I screwed up his last name.
That's fine.
He won an Oscar for Up, and he was nominated for Ratatouille. He's also done The Batman. Edited. He's done a bunch of other things.
And the Planet of the Apes series, or the last two, War and Dawn, which we cover in our Patreon exclusive lead-up series.
Shameless plug.
That's
Edited
right.
by Marianne Brandon and Mary Jo Markey. Brandon has nominated for an Oscar for Star Wars, The Force Awakens. She also did Venom and How to Train Your Dragon. Markey is her co-editor. They're obviously a team, so they're the same nominations. So yeah, anyways. Produced by JJ Abrams, Brian Burke, and Steven Spielberg. Abrams has done a bunch. He produces a lot of stuff. So I try to find stuff that he produced that he didn't direct or write. So Cloverfield, Overlord, and the upcoming TV show Presumed Innocent. But I would say watch the movie first. Brian Burke has
Did you just give the camera the Ford finger?
No. I did. Brian Burke has done Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, Star Trek, and Star Wars. Obviously, he's Abrams' producing partner. And Steven Spielberg had produced, come on, if you don't know by now, I mean, you have not listened to the show. Everything you loved in the 80s, he's produced. I mean, am I wrong, man?
One of the 90s.
Anything you love since the 80s.
Nowadays.
Big time film that is like a big summer movie that's been fun, he's produced.
Spielberg's had a part in it. He's had his hand.
And we've already talked about the multiple times he has gone on set and asked to direct scenes and whatnot. All right. So this film's cast is relatively unknown. We're going to get through them. You might recognize them as they got older. I know Joel Courtney, who plays Joe Lamb, plays the lead kid. He's in a bunch of things. He's in a lot of Netflix stuff.
He was in like that Kissing Booth movie.
The Kissing Booth series.
Like 18 of.
He's in the movie Sick, which was a film that Kevin Williamson directed. I think I told you about that. It was about these, I thought I told you about this. It's a Peacock film. It's on Peacock.
Okay.
And it's about these two girls during the quarantine go to this cabin by the lake to just kind of like chill there. They're going to chill out the quarantine there, but then somebody starts trying to kill them. It's like so it's actually not that bad. He's also in Jesus Revolution. Riley Griffiths plays Charles Kaznick, or Charlie. He's the director of the zombie film and his best friend. He didn't do much after this. He's only known has that he went to college on a football scholarship in 2015. So he's living his life. Maybe he's going to come back. Who knows? Maybe not. In terms of acting, he could be doing whatever he wants in his life. Right?
That's cool. Yeah.
Ryan Lee plays Carrie. He's in Goosebumps, and This Is 40. He's the kid that Paul Rudd, Leslie Mann yells at. I don't know if you remember that scene. When
yeah.
He's in a couple things. He's probably going to be in more stuff. Zach Mills is Preston. You might remember him from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. He's the kid that she kind of befriends, Natalie Portman. Did you ever see that movie?
Okay. Yeah.
He's the one that has the hats.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. He's also in Kit Kittredge, An American Girl. Gabriel Basso as Martin. He's in Hillbilly Elegy and The Night Agent, the TV show. Obviously, is much older. And then Elle Fanning as Alice, which I'm sure a lot of people recognize. She's in The Neon Demon, Maleficent, and the TV show The Great, which is on Hulu, I believe. And then you had the main kid, Joe Lamb. You had his father, Deputy Jackson Lamb, is played by Kyle Chandler, who's from the TV show Friday Night Lights, Argo, and the TV show Early Edition. Ron Eldard as Louis Daynard. You might have seen him in Sleepers, Black Hawk Down. He's also in ER for a couple seasons, the TV show. Jessica Tuck as Mrs. Kaznick, who is Charlie's mother. You might have seen her on TV show True Blood. Joel McKinnon Miller as Mr. Kaznick. I know him from Big Love. Butler knows him from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
AJ Michaela, who's the sister, the older sister, but she's not in it that much. She's the one that she's in it for like in the beginning, and then towards the end when they get her to kind of get the guy to drive them.
Yep.
She's in The Lovely Bones and TV show Grace Unplugged. And then Colonel Nellick and Noah Emmerich comes in as Colonel Nellick. You might have seen him in The Truman Show and TV show The Americans. Richard T. Jones is in there as Overmeyer, who's like the jerk who steals the necklace for no reason.
Yeah.
He's in Event Horizon, which was a movie we did. He's on the TV show The Rookie. Dale Dickey's in here somewhere. I didn't see him, but he's in there. Dan Castellaneta's in here. I didn't see him. I don't know.
He's Dan Castellaneta is the used car salesman where all the engines are taken
I didn't even catch
and he's got the toupee.
Didn't even catch that.
As soon as he was on, I go, it's Homer in a toupee.
It's a wide shot. I couldn't even catch that. And then I told Butler before this that Bruce Greenwood's in this film. He does the mocap for the monster.
What's the monster's name?
Cooper, apparently.
Right.
So I didn't.
He's not a monster. He's an alien.
Excuse me. The alien. Apologies. Apologies to Alien Life.
You're the reason that he wants to attack everybody.
Yeah, I'm the reason.
That kind of racist attitude. Jeez.
I know. Don't cancel me, aliens. I'm a friend. All right. So, like I said before, we both watched this together. There was a big anticipation for this film. Obviously, it's a huge homage to Spielberg films.
They kept a lot of stuff a secret, too.
Yeah.
So it was like, what's it about? Is it a sequel to this or that?
Yeah. And they were trying to connect it to the Cloverfield world because they were trying to do all that back then, trying to connect everything to Cloverfield.
Yeah.
I watched the teaser it's on Max, Netflix. Where is it on?
This is on Prime Video right now.
It's on Prime Video right now. When we watch this, I don't know when this episode comes out. I don't know if it's still going to be there, but they only had the teaser trailer on. They didn't even have the regular trailer on.
Huh.
So I watched the teaser, which was not even anything from the movie. It's something that they shot entirely different.
Yeah, I remember
different cinematographer.
I remember that because that's why everyone was like, "Oh, what's this going to be?"
Yeah,
because they pulled like what they did with Cloverfield, which, granted, that's smart because when Cloverfield's teaser came out, that's what helped blow Cloverfield up because no one knew it was about all this mystery. Like, I think that's exciting. I miss those days. Nowadays, and even before then, a lot of times you get these big movies and it's just like, here's the whole movie. Like, I know when we're recording this, we're going to go see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in a few days. There's like 8 trailers for that.
Oh, well, I only have one trailer.
Yeah, I purposely didn't watch I think trailer number 4 just came out. I'm like, I'm not watching this.
It's a movie I'm going to watch after the first trailer.
No
I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to continue. But that also scares me when they put out multiple trailers. So then I'm like, okay, what are we doing here?
Why is that? Yeah.
Are you worried that people aren't going to see this film?
But when you advertise something with some completely different footage and make it special and unique, that's when it's like, all right.
I like the teaser the year before, like when they do a little quick teaser and then they give you the first trailer, whatever
full trailer, yeah.
Day. And that's all I need.
Yeah.
I don't need multiple trailers. I don't want to see multiple.
If it's a really big movie, I'm also okay with like the second trailer being maybe like at the Super Bowl, just to like re-add. Maybe. But yeah, you shouldn't have more than 2 full trailers.
But I don't know if we talk about this on the show because this was during our break. We talked about the last Mission Impossible film, Dead Reckoning, which is now, it's not part 1, it's Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
And how they had the trailer that talked about how they did the jump in the movie.
Oh yeah, the jump was shown 8,000 times.
Right, and it ruined the
jump.
Yeah, because when you watch the film, you already know all this stuff. So you're not really like, now you're looking for where it looks fake, like where it's not on the rocks. Oh, I knew they were on a rampart. Like, we didn't know that. And we were watching the movie and that came up. I'd be like, oh man, how did they do this?
That'd be a great stunt.
So
yeah.
I think it kind of can backfire when you just show too much.
Yep. Agreed.
What were we talking about again? Super 8. So when this movie came out, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I wasn't like, oh my God, I
do remember that. That's why I'm surprised that you put this on the list.
Because I thought maybe I was being unfair. Maybe I just was like, you're not Spielberg, don't be Spielberg kind of thing.
That was your whole, you were very, I mean, even like now probably, but back then you were really like anti-Abrams because of his insistence and not just his insistence. You didn't like everybody calling him the next Spielberg.
I don't like that. I didn't like that when they did that with Shyamalan. He was on the cover of Time magazine, they said the next Spielberg. I'm like, calm down. I mean, like, as somebody, if I was a filmmaker and I was a storyteller coming up, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that title. If someone said to me, you're the next Spielberg, no. I'm not anything like that. I'm my own person, regardless of that. My point is that we put on the list because I wanted to see if I would be the same way. And now I still have some things that I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
What's your biggest gripe?
Where do I start?
Oh, sounds like you got a bunch of gripes.
No. I just here. So what I've been doing now in this we've come back now, is I've tried to write some thoughts down after the movie so that I can kind of like figure out like what I want to say when we're talking. And my problem is that I don't feel connected to any of the other kids other than Joel. And it's a kid's movie. It's a group dynamic. The other kids don't have arcs. And I'm not saying that they all need massive giant arcs like Joe Lamb's character does, like Joel Courtney's character, Joe. That's the main one that drives it. But none of the other kids have arcs. Like Carrie's at the end of the film with the firecrackers.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, like, well, why are you here? You're just here because they needed you to do the distraction for the creature.
Yeah.
You have no arc. Like, if his arc was like, I just want to blow up the fireworks, no one lets me do that. But he does it already during the movie, so it's not a big deal.
He does it all the time. Yeah, no one says no.
So like, there's great scenes in the film. The scene in the film when they're running and all the tanks are misfiring. Because my question there is, are they misfiring because they're just misfiring because the creature's doing it? Or are they misfiring because they're trying to go after the alien and they're misfiring? Like, it's
a combination of both. He's definitely there. He flips over the tank.
He does, but
he's also causing the weapons to just go crazy and haywire.
And to the point, like you're actively blowing up an entire town. Like, it's whatever. But regardless of that, when they're running and they're trying to escape that, Martin breaks his leg, and it's almost like they just dump Charlie and Martin right there because like we don't need you anymore right now, and they don't have enough.
They're done with the story,
right?
Yeah.
So my final note is I like this movie quite a bit, but I would just love if the other kids had arcs, and it would bring. I think it would just. It gives them more meaning as their friendship and them being together. Now I know I don't like to say like we like to rewrite films, and I wish you would did it like so. I don't want to dive down that way. I just don't feel connected to any of the other kids, and I feel like I should be connected.
I agree with that. They could have easily done something like a movie that does it really well is the first It film of the remake.
Sure,
I think that does a really good job of giving you 4 or 5. It's 4, and then the girl comes. So like it's 5 kids that all have story arcs and something to overcome.
And it doesn't have to be big.
Yeah, like you said, like Charlie has his film that he really wants to make.
Right.
What's the kid's name with the fireworks? You just said Carrie has the fireworks.
He wants to just light stuff.
The other 2 kids, like they're pointless.
They're not. Yeah.
They leave one kid at the military base. He's got one more line,
and you have no like real connection to him. Like you have no real like let's say he's too scared to go because he's too afraid. He's always been afraid of his entire life.
So he's got to overcome some kind of fear.
Right. So maybe when the father goes to him and he says, "What's going on?" He's like, "I'll go with you." Like that kind of thing. Like you don't ever like the kids are never part of the adventure. They're just there with the exception of Joe. But I just feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities there. And that's why I can't connect to it on a level where I can connect with a film that we just talked about, like, you know, like an 80s film or something like that, where I just like, oh my God, that movie's so great. I love that. I can't get there with this film. I like the film and has a lot of great moments in the film. I just can't get to that point where I want it to be because it's an homage.
Well, that's the thing. It's right. It's a very good film,
but I feel like it needs to live up to that.
It just misses the mark, which again, you're going to do a film like E.T. Yeah. E.T.'s got, obviously Elliot's the main character, but all the kids end up having something to do.
They
help save E.T. They all have something to do. They all put themselves in danger.
Yeah.
And they're probably less important to the overall story than in this.
Yeah.
They pop in and out, but you're connected to them more. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. And that's a Spielberg.
And it's probably unfair for me to do this. But because it's an homage to Spielberg films, I feel like I need to live up to that. And
I don't think you're wrong because that's the whole spiel of this movie. That's the whole selling point.
Like, I feel bad because I want to love this film. I want to love this film just like I love all the films. It's kind of like not spoofing, but like paying homage. Yeah. But I can't. And I feel bad that I can't.
I don't feel bad. I
don't feel bad, Mike.
Because I don't think you don't like this film. I also like this film quite a bit. And it has really good scenes. And it's a kind of film you don't get anymore. So it's nice to see. But when you've hammered home that point that it's a Spielberg film, we're making a Spielberg film, I'm doing it.
That's tough.
Then you have to live up to that hype. And you've inadvertently, but also you did it on purpose. Put yourself on that pedestal.
Right.
Don't put yourself on that pedestal.
So, I mean, maybe. So, yeah. So again, I feel like I let you down that I don't love.
No, that's fine. I like this film quite a bit. There's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of stuff to like, but I do agree that that's a big thing. That's one of my notes is that the dumping the kids thing is especially my note. Like, guys, we can't have you in the story anymore.
break your leg.
Yeah. Oops. Oh, it's a good thing I know how to tie and tie up a fracture and connect it. How do you know this?
So obviously the scenes that people always remember, the train scene. I think the train scene, the scene in the bus when the creature attacks, the scene we just talked about where they're running through the town and they got that big wide shot.
The town and the train are the things I remember the most, and the gas station.
The gas station scene, but the gas station scene it's not long. It's just kind of like obviously
it sets up like the danger. It's the first time you really see what's going on.
Right. I'm trying to think what else. It's 4 scenes. What other scenes are really just kind of hit home?
The water tower is cool at the end when everything's kind of going there.
So the thing with the water tower home, the thing with the water tower is that I get what he was trying to do, but they don't. When they show the footage of the cubes all together,
right,
and then they fall apart. Let me get this straight. He's magnetizing the water tower to attract the cubes. Is that what he's trying to do there? The alien?
I assumed that he was getting the cubes, but he didn't have enough of them, so he's using the rest of the metals to make a makeshift kind of
that's what
to transform those other metals into more cubes.
Okay, that's what exactly. But I
and the
thought
water
that,
tower just happens to be a good shape to
But
start
when the cubes come, they form the spaceship. And then everything that is on the water tower explodes and disappears. So that's where I was confused. I was just kind of confused about that.
I don't know. I'm not an alien that knows how this stuff. But yeah, I don't get it either. But it's maybe he couldn't get all the cubes. Maybe some of the cubes are missing.
Maybe, yeah.
Or the cubes. I mean, he crashed to begin with, so the ship was clearly damaged somehow to begin with. Maybe he needed that metal to fix that.
And they were saying that this is basically the Roswell crash.
No, this crashed in 1956. So this crash is 10 years or 7 years after Roswell.
Right. But in the area where Lillian, Ohio is made up, named after Abrams' grandmother, but in the area, right?
I don't remember. Yeah, okay. Did they say where? I don't remember if they say. Well, I remember they say.
No, they don't, because they say that they were transporting it to a facility in Ohio.
Okay.
That's why it's on those train tracks. Does it bother you that the entire train scene is CGI digital?
What bothers me is the pickup truck doesn't look real at all. The train stuff looks really cool. When it's coming and it's swerving.
In the teaser, it's great.
Yeah, in the teaser,
but in the movie, it's not.
Yeah, it's making moves a pickup truck could never make at a speed and like turning a turn radius that a pickup truck would never have. So it looks like you're playing. Even video games have more realistic kind of like physics than that. So the pickup truck looks terrible, but the train, once the train crashes and like run and it's the debris going everywhere. I don't know how they didn't die. Yeah, it's nuts. I really like it.
They're underneath the train station, which is lit up.
Yeah,
and nobody's manning it. And it gets obliterated, and they're underneath it. I'm like, they're not dead. They should be dead.
I was thinking the same thing, that they should have had like. I mean, they do have extra. We just talked about they have extra kids because they don't really have a point. But yeah, one of them should have gotten hit, and then she'd been like, "We're not talking about it because Danny died."
That would be tough. That would be tough.
Yeah. But then also, the military would find out about those kids right away.
Yeah, they get in the car.
And they're like 2 seconds away from them.
I know. They couldn't.
No one's shooting at this car.
Yeah, I know.
You can't find it in the town of 16,000 people. It's the bright yellow and black Camaro.
And I'm surprised that they don't have like an extra kid that dies or something like that, because when they go see the creature, the alien down below, he's eating people.
Is he eating people?
Yes, because he's got somebody there and he's like eating it. Yeah, he eats somebody.
Does they show him eating it?
Did I miss that? They don't show you, but it's evident that he's eating somebody.
Okay, I must have missed that part. Okay.
Yeah, so he's clearly like eating people. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why when they have all the dogs missing, I was like, oh, I forgot that they kill all the dogs, and then the dogs all just ran away.
No, they escaped, which I like. I like that scene when he puts the map down and like, we've got all these cars, but they're all outside of town.
Yeah,
so I like that.
Every dog ran away.
One of the things I want to talk about is in the notes, I saw this note and I was like, really? Like, that was your initial intention? And I don't know if you read this note, but they had to go back and re-edit the Jackson Lamb stuff, because in the original test audience didn't like him. They hated him. This is the father.
Right.
Because in the note is they didn't like him, so they re-edited his scenes to make him a broken man and not, they say imbecile, but not an idiot. So my thing is that, so your intention was to make him an imbecile? Like that was how you wrote him? To be somebody who was just a moron? And I'm like, I'm hoping that's not true, but that's like a really big misfire to make him like not what he was, because he's extremely sympathetic. He lost his wife. He doesn't know how to handle his son.
He's not super sympathetic to me.
Well, I'm saying that he's grieving.
He's got a lot of tropes that I don't like, which we can get into. But yeah, to make him an idiot doesn't make any sense, because he's your hero too. He's the guy who's fighting the military and trying to figure things out.
Yeah, once the sheriff is gone, disappears, he's the one that's controlling.
So what did you reshoot? How much of an idiot was like?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like that note at all. If that's true.
There's stuff I don't like about his character, but like, yeah, making him an idiot would make me hate him even more. Like,
what don't you like about his character?
He follows every trope of every bad father that's ever been in any movie that I absolutely freaking hate it. Just like, your interests are wrong, son. Here's baseball camp. Go to baseball, you freaking nerd.
6 weeks,
like,
too.
Yeah, your baseball camp. You know what's going to happen to your son? He's going to get the absolute snot beat out of him. He's going to be terrible at the game. The coaches are going to yell at him. The kids are going to hate him even more than they already did. They're going to give him a nickname like Booger, and like, just it's not going to end with like what parent? No, like it's just absolutely unbelievable that you have these movies with these parents that are so unaccepting of these children's interests and their friends to a ridiculous degree, and it becomes a trope. And a lot of people talk about this, like the bad father trope and the dumb father trope is like prolific in media. And it's just so stupid. It's just I'm so tired of it, and it's just dumb and overused, and it's not like Spielbergian. Like, I can't think of a movie where they really use that in Spielberg, where it's like,
have you watched The Fabelmans?
Well,
yet?
I know that in Spielberg, yeah, he wasn't a big fan of him doing his videos and stuff, but
that's based on his life.
But the overall like proliferation of this in film is just tiresome and just eye rolling. That scene in the restaurant where he's like, baseball camp, look at it, and he won't even look his kid in the eye. I'm like, your wife's been dead for 4 days. This is your son, and you're supposed to be like it's very unbelievable and it makes me. I can't root for his character. That's as soon as that scene happens, it's like, you're a bad father. You're not like a father who can recover from this. If this is you, then you're just you're a shit dad. Like it's the end. Like so I don't think he ever has a moment where I care. Like, he doesn't come back from that for me.
So,
but if he's stupid, then he's also not a hero character either.
All right. So I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just going to offer this stuff up. So you had very supportive parents, I'm sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Not a lot of people do. Creatives, I get it. No, I'm just offering this.
Right,
creatives,
right.
Some people who are creative and writers and want to live with their heads in the clouds don't have that sometimes. So that's one. Number two, this is not fathers now. This is a father from the 70s who was raised by parents who probably were in the 50s. So it's, it's like, they're not as, some of them aren't as well-rounded, and they only know one way of life. And you're coming off of like probably post-Vietnam. You're probably coming in during a time when life's not great. And granted, it's 4 months after his wife dies, and he can't forgive the guy who didn't show up for work and his wife took the shift. He can't even forgive him for that. So I think he's got his own personal issues. And I understand the trope. I understand that because you've seen it so many times. But that's what happens now, because people now, filmmakers and writers and storytellers now, a lot of their influences are movies from back then. Not books, not life, not literature. Very rare to have storytellers now really put themselves on screen in terms of like what they experience in their life. It's out there, but not a lot. Sure. Especially not with JJ Abrams, maybe. That's just a counterpoint to what you were saying. Okay. And I agree with you. I understand the trope. I get it. I totally understand that. My biggest thing was like, if you're writing him as an idiot, I don't get why we're doing that.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the hero of the town.
Right.
Like, regardless of how he is as a stereotypical movie dad.
Sure. Totally.
He's supposed to be the hero of the town. And like, I don't know how you write apart. Like, I mean, he does do the one stupid thing where he goes right up to the colonel's face and says, why don't I just tell my friends in Washington about Operation? Like,
maybe that's part of that.
Don't play your hand, dude.
Maybe
Come on.
Maybe that was kind of the original, like without the other stuff around it.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem, because he pulls up and he's like, I'm going to talk to the Colonel Nellick. And like 85 guys come out with guns trained on them. It's like,
yeah. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. But then he gets out of that. So then he can't be that much of an idiot.
I do like how he gets out of that, because how he gets out of it is like classic Indiana Jones.
Oh, totally. Yeah. But like at the end of the film, when he hugs Joel, he tells him, I got you. That was from Spielberg. That wasn't in the script. Spielberg had that idea either on the day of or whenever. So even there, like that line doesn't really match with
his attitude.
Yeah. So I'm really, it's concerning that Lamb was like, if this is accurate, like the way Lamb was originally intended is concerning. Like that was thought of as like, yeah,
maybe that's why he was sending the baseball camp. Not because he was mean, but he was too dumb to take care of his own child.
well, they say that when you see the Kasniks at the funeral, and the husband's like, Joel, he's like,
he's a good man.
He'll step up. And she's like, he's never known how to be a father. And so you kind of get the sense that he's
I left a couple slices of pizza for you. Oh, so I ate them.
Yeah, what a jerk.
Like, the dad's like completely unconcerned. Pick up your flashlight you dropped.
And I like
maybe feed your son, dude.
And I like the fact, I like when he gives it back to him, when he yells at him before he goes to meet Colonel Nellick, and he's like, he's like, no, nothing's okay with this. I like that he kind of speaks up and they have that fight, because it was really annoying me that
he
was just taking it. And the other thing, to your point about the baseball stuff, is I didn't get any sense that he was a sports kid. You know what I
that's
mean?
the
Like
thing,
he likes makeup. He likes movie makeup.
He likes making model trains.
He's got the poster of the space shuttle on the wall, which I had when I was growing up.
Ah, you nerd.
Shut up. So, he had that, but I played sports, but he had that on the wall. So I just, I didn't get the indication that he was doing baseball.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no line because it's the summer. There's not even a line where he's like, oh, I'm not playing baseball this summer. Oh, I've got a game. There's nothing.
He's just all of a sudden going to learn how to play.
Right. So, because Little League is going on in the summer. So I don't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't understand that. That's a little weird. But back to Lamb, when he goes and sits, when the family, when Joel goes to visit his mother's grave. Remember
Right.
when
Yeah.
And I look at the name on the grave and it was Elizabeth. Her name was Liz Lamb. Like that was her name, Liz Lamb.
Lizzie Lamb.
I was like, oh, that's not great.
I liked a lot of the movie stuff in this movie, like the kids making the movie stuff.
Yeah,
I thought that was good. I
could totally relate to that. I mean, granted, the production value is fantastic.
I was gonna say, like some of this, like the zombie kill when he puts the nail on his head. I'm like, that's a great cut.
Yeah,
that's
eyeball,
really good. The eyeballs,
the eyeballs,
like the eyeballs are really well done.
So you're what are these kids? 11?
They're 12.
12-year-old kids are just gonna put these like plastic contact lens eyeballs on them? No way.
Well, they go over his eyes. He's keeping them scrunched up.
So then you're telling me that Joel is a master craftsman of the.
Well, they have a lot of the monster makeup magazines, and back then I think you could order stuff from those. So they might be ordering.
It's
stuff.
just he's got a career.
They've got really good production values.
Yeah, and
he's got his own Super 8 camera that he's using.
Yeah, the two of them, because they borrow his father's.
But his father's not a Super 8, but it works just as well. That's what Joel is saying as he's running to go get. I have a camera. It doesn't work. It's not a Super 8, but it'll hold the same film or whatever.
Okay, all right. And the fact that they record in front of the giant train crash on the hill, and they record in front of the house that's being empty, like nobody stops them. Like nobody's like, give me
just
that.
Kids being kids, man. It's a different time.
Yeah, and they don't ever. Colonel Nellick finds the film stuff at the site, right?
Yeah.
But he never tracks it down. He never chases them down. Only when they go to the school because somebody ratted on them.
Well, he's looking because he talks to the professor and he's like, you were with somebody. You were filming this incident. Who are they? You let me know.
Then he murders them.
And then he murders them. But he's not like hardcore hunting. He's more concerned, I think, about finding the alien than he is about finding Cooper.
And do you know who the actor is who played the guy who drives the truck, the science teacher?
Who is that?
He was also the science teacher in Gremlins.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Not the same character, but same.
Another Spielberg produced film.
I know. Put him in. Put my man in here. But I don't put him in, JJ.
Put my man. Oh, that's another thing. After that train crash, like that guy would be nothing. Not only would he be like, not just like dead, he'd be obliterated. There'd be nothing left of
and what's
this
the
man.
gun for? Well, you were just going to stop the train with your truck. What were you going to do? Shoot at it too?
I guess get out of the train and shoot at people if they were survivors. Even though you'd be dust, he would be dust.
Yeah, I didn't. That was weird. There's no reason why he should survive that.
Still be there, yeah.
I mean, but whatever. I know for the Kasniks is like they're good people, but they got a lot of kids.
It's like the beginning scene from Home Alone where all the kids are there. And
they have like 8 kids. It's like ridiculous. I don't even know what the father does for a living, but he's dressed like
he's a Brooklyn cop. The kids beating taking the baseball bat to the kitchen table and the food.
Yeah.
And she's like, give me that.
Like the whole house is a mess. Like I'm just looking at that going, yeah, the house would just be a mess forever. Like there's no cleaning that up. No cleaning that up. What about, so we talked about, because I didn't know that Dan Castellaneta was Izzy and the whole dealership thing.
The dealer, yeah.
How is everywhere that this creature goes, this alien goes, just destroys everything? But he definitely removes engines out of the cars overnight. Like he opens the hoods, takes out the engines, nothing smashed. Because
you see all the stuff lifting up. I think that's all magnetized.
So it pulled out of, you saying?
I think it like pulled shot out. Yeah, because like you see like the laundry, you see the dryer, a laundry machine do that later on in the film as well.
So you're saying he didn't go in there and take the engines out.
He's using his like whatever's to like grab it.
But he didn't magnetize the water tower to the end of the movie. So how? So
I know
that wouldn't make any sense.
But I know. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying how he did it.
I don't know if he did it like that. I think
because you see scenes of other stuff throughout toward that half of the film starting to get sucked to wherever. But he also has all that trash in his cave and the computer screens or the TV screens. Okay. So he's definitely doing stuff down there too.
And the note I have about the water tower is that anytime you see it, it's CGI. It's not real. So the water tower is not there.
Ever. I never really noticed that.
But I mean, well, the only time I was like, really, was when they showed the cube that busts.
Trying to get into it.
And I was like, that looks real. Like, really? But who knows? Maybe I didn't know. Would you have liked Lamb played by Jeremy Renner other than Kyle Chandler? I like Kyle Chandler quite a bit.
I like Kyle Chandler. So no.
Because Renner was going to do it, but he turned it down to go do Mission Impossible 4, Ghost Protocol.
No, that at the time was probably a smarter move because he was supposed to be lining up to take over
and
for
that
Tom
never
Cruise.
happened.
Yeah.
Why?
Because Tom decided he was going to keep doing it.
I'm never leaving.
4 or 5 were supposed to be, I think 5 was supposed to be his last one. So 4 was setting up for Renner to take over.
He should have left. I mean, I like seeing Tom Cruise in the movies, but like, we're good. Like
after Dead Reckoning, I'm okay with him not being anywhere. I love you, Tom. But
what's the new one called? Do you know?
I don't think it has a title yet.
Interesting. All right. So I guess we like this film.
It's a good film. It harkens back to a different time.
Okay.
It's an adventure film.
Yeah. How about the fact that one of my notes here is that the character that played Carrie, Ryan Lee, had braces, comes to the set, and they're like, production removes them and puts on the 70s style braces. They replace his braces with 70s braces. I'm sorry, but like,
that's unnecessary.
As a parent, I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
You're not doing that
to
my kid. I mean, really?
Who's noticing that?
I mean, like, they are different because the braces back then are just really heavy and thick. But like, what dentist is like, what do you want to do? I got to go bust out my old equipment here.
Were they working braces?
I imagine they still are.
They would still
work, or maybe they just like remove the braces and put this fake plate on. I don't know. Why don't you just put some fake thing over the teeth?
Yeah, just like do a mold and then
I don't get. I mean, I get it. It's probably a big break for them, and his parents are probably like, yeah, no, totally, let's do it. It's weird. It's a Hollywood thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unnecessary step. No one's gonna. One nerd is gonna point that out online. Those aren't the right braces from back then.
So most of the critic stuff I found in this movie, they all like it, and I can do that one because we kind of were back and forth. But I'm gonna give you the bad one first.
Okay.
So David Edelstein of the New York Magazine called it a flagrant crib, adding that Abrams has probably been fighting not to reproduce Spielberg's signature moves since the day he picked up a camera. Now, with the blessing of the master, he can plagiarize with alacrity.
What I don't like about that is when Interstellar came out, and I don't like Interstellar. It is also a flagrant ripoff on 4 other films, and they called it a masterpiece. And people love that film. And I think that this film, because it's also like they said, the master's involved, it's okay. But when everybody's boy now, Christopher Nolan, just completely rips off other films and it makes an incredibly unoriginal film that doesn't have permission. It's not being worked on with other people that worked on these films. It's like, that's a masterpiece. But then you don't like this as an homage or whatever.
Yeah, right. What I don't know, what movies are you talking about with Interstellar?
Well, 2001, 2012,
2010, you mean?
10, right?
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Like I haven't seen the movie in a while, but it's like 4 different movies.
Okay.
He absolutely kind of rips off. And it's just like, but that's okay. And then this isn't like, when is an homage okay, and when is it a ripoff?
I think
who decides where that line is?
I think part of the line is if you admit it or don't admit it, or say like, yes, I wanted to do that. Yeah, no, I think if you're openly saying like, look, I am standing on the shoulder of somebody else, but I really have always wanted to do this. I think there's some authenticity to that. So I think people are okay with that.
And I think that's why I like this one, because
when you have Spielberg producing it.
Legit. Yeah. Chris Nolan's like, I was like inspired by these ideas. And it's like, no, dude, this is a straight up homage or just a ripoff. You just absolutely cribbing the other movies.
Well, Quentin Tarantino's always been accused of ripping off, like, you know, a lot of Asian cinema, but he says that. He says that, yes, exactly, I love those movies. Absolutely. That's why I want to do it. But also, he may be taking from other people, but he's making it his own.
He puts his own voice on top of these scenes. Right. Yeah.
You're not going to mistake something that he does as, you know, somebody else. But it's
his dialogue, it's his camera work, it's his lighting, his
I
look.
think you have to be honest. I think you definitely have to be. If I'm a director and somebody gives me an opportunity to do a movie that's a remake, or it's a movie that's in the vein of this, like, I'm going to say like, well, I'm going to try to pull from that, or I'm going to say that like, I want to get inspiration from that, but I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to be embarrassed by it. I've always kind of wanted to go back to Interstellar because people keep telling me how great it is, like younger people your age.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch it again.
But like,
yeah.
and don't get me wrong, I love Inception. I love the Dark Knight trilogy. I still have to watch Oppenheimer, but I'm sure I'll like that. It's just Interstellar. Everybody's like, it's his greatest movie. I love The Prestige, but people are like, oh, it's his greatest movie. It's like, it's not. It's other people's great movies, and he's just making you think it's his. And maybe I need to watch it again. I only watched it the one time, but I really was down on it.
You might have come to this episode for some Super 8 love, but you're getting some
Interstellar hate instead.
Yeah, you're getting some hate on Christopher Nolan, which is fine because his comments on the audio track and Tenet are ridiculous. People really care about audio. Yeah, dude, I want to hear what they're saying. Anyways, I'm not even gonna do the
good reviews.
The good reviews. Oh, actually, no. There's one more bad one. Writing for Movies Notebook, Fernando Croce alleged that no film this year opens more promisingly and ends more dismally than JJ Abrams' Super 8. I mean, I will say this: the ending is just kind of like it ends.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, the whole thing when Joe is holding the necklace, the
locket,
and he lets it go, and I almost feel like there needs to be a line there or something, but there's not. But that's a nice moment. I get it. I totally get it. I think it needs to come later.
Here's how the
earlier.
movie ends. Fade out. Open 3 weeks later. Joe's at baseball camp. Getting picked on.
My note when you were talking about that, my note when he slides the thing to him and I'm watching, like, I need you to get away from me, son. Okay, I don't want to see you.
I have the same note.
Get away. I don't like you. Want to have dinner? Let's go to the bar.
What we both, though, my note is what we both need to get rid of your weird ass.
Maybe I get these crazy ideas. I think it's like, I don't want you doing these crazy movies. The kids, like the family lives across from you. You're clearly probably friends with the cast. Nick, knock it off. But yeah, so I do think that the ending probably needs a bit smoothing out because it just kind of ends, and I really felt like incomplete. And that's probably goes back to my original notes about the no character arcs and stuff.
Yeah, I just don't think that anything's changing for them, really.
No, agreed. I think, yeah. You kind of, and you also like this type of story. You kind of want to know what happens after. You kind of want to have an idea of what's that life after like. Just give me a glimpse of it, but whatever.
Yeah, maybe you fade out, you open up, it's another season.
They don't do it in ET, so I mean, why would they do it here? So I get that. We already talked about how much we love Spielberg, so we can't really just say
ET has fixed their relationship
already
by the end.
Jaws, they're swimming back to shore. They do the whole thing. Yeah, so whatever. So I'll give you the good one. Chris Sosa of Gather gave the film an A rating, calling it a gripping and exciting tale of finding one's place in the world amidst tragedy. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Works. That's good. So, I mean, it's really difficult to say why are we saying this is forgotten?
You put it on the list, man. You go first. This was a big film.
I just feel like this movie came out, it had big hype, and I never hear about it anymore. I never see it.
True, fair.
I never see it on like TNT or... I mean, I think maybe this film, because it's not, this is also Abrams' like really only film that's not part of a major franchise. Star Trek, Star Wars,
Mission Impossible. Yeah.
It's like a standalone almost. And I think that maybe because this is the type of film that you would see on like, Freeform or TBS or TNT or FX, like all the channels that do those movies on the weekends, all those are now just Marvel films. DC and Marvel films. And I think maybe, I know this is kind of like we're banging the same drum here, but like those movies are always up because those movies people watch. I get it. But I think it shoves out films like this. And I think that because it's not in the zeitgeist anymore, it's not like it doesn't pop on. People aren't switching around Super 8 and they're watching it. I think it kind of loses traction with younger audiences, younger crowds who weren't around in 2011. Like, my kids probably know nothing about this film. And they probably should, no matter what I say about it. So I think that it's very difficult for these type of films to catch on. Like we love movies like Back to the Future and E.T. and Close Encounters and Jaws and Raiders and all these films because that's what was on all the time. And they're PG-13 and maybe the stuff was cut out, but we always saw them. We always saw moments and clips and stuff. And those just kind of get ingrained in you as you grow up. This movie hasn't had that chance because it's getting pushed out by other films. And I think that's, like somebody who's like 21, 22. And if I mention this, probably like, what's that? Like they'll probably,
but they would probably like it.
Yeah. But they would know about like Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3 or like, something like that. So I think that's kind of where the forgottenness comes from.
Yeah.
I mean, if Do you have any?
I agree. I think that a lot of people, like, sometimes we put movies on the list that are popular, like Super 8, and people are like, well, that's not forgotten. But like you say, it wasn't forgotten when it first came out, and then it just gets shoved away.
Huge buzz.
Big companies like the Disney train is huge now. And it's a massive organization that silences all these other, not just franchises, but IPs, because they could do really well that first weekend or second weekend, and then they fizzle out and they disappear because they're not on that hype train. And I think that's completely fair. But yeah, I think that I would personally recommend this to anyone. I don't think there's anybody who, as long as you like films and you like movies, like, it's not perfect. We went over, but like, I think we're comparing it because they want to be a Spielberg film. But as a film, I think this is great for anybody.
We're definitely
can
coming
enjoy
at this with baggage, so which is understandable.
Yeah, exactly.
No, totally, it's understandable, and we admit that freely. I mean, this film, I said before, like the first teaser came out a year before I was on Iron Man 2, and it was like a huge thing, like Mike talked about earlier in the show. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then you had the anticipation of the whole year, big summer film, like June 11th. That's when, pretty much kids are getting out of school. It's almost the first big real summer film. So it was just a huge deal. And now it just kind of goes away, and it's tough because you want these type of films to kind of live on in other forms on TV so people can see them and stuff like that, to kind of like grow up with them like we grew up with other stuff. So, but hopefully it'll come back, or probably not. Probably never.
It'll come back because we did an episode on it.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. Really doubt it. Mike, where can they find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com, or you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Or if you're watching us now on YouTube, you're finding us here. If you're watching it or listening to us, wherever you are, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, a like. Leave a comment if you want. Those things really help the channel. I know everybody YouTuber says that, but it really does, and it's really easy to do. So if you enjoyed us in any way, please smash that like button. I guess.
Smash that.
I hate saying smash that like button,
but you said it.
I did say it. Anyway.
You said it.
And then also,
you YouTuber,
check us out on Patreon. We have a Forgotten Cinema Patreon where you can join for free. You get access to we'll invite you into our Discord where we talk about movies. And if you really like our content, you can subscribe to one of the Patreon tiers where you can listen to special episodes where we do lead up episodes leading up to bigger releases. Like we're doing Aliens. We did the Planet of the Apes films. We did the new Roadhouse, or we did old Roadhouse film leading up to the new one. And we did the Ghostbusters films before that. We also do our now showings. Check those out where we review newer films. While we're recording this, we're about to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. When you're listening to this, we've probably seen I think we're probably close to Deadpool and Wolverine by the time this comes out.
Oh, we're doing that too?
All the way down in summer, yeah.
Okay.
We're not doing the lead ups, what I'm saying, for the now showings.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, check us out. We're everywhere. We love talking movies. We want to hear from you guys. And then if you feel so inclined, you want to help support us, we also have a merch shop as well. All those links are down below. So
sweet.
Thanks.
Join us next week. We're going to be doing, I don't know how this movie's going to go with us. We're going to be doing the 1986 film, The Delta Force, with Chuck Norris. Man, this movie, I mean, I love the music, but like...
I picked this movie solely because it's like number 3 on
here's the thing.
The old list.
Here's the thing. I put it on the list because I always remembered that they always have the same song. It's like a really quick song. And it's like, it always reminds me of Delta Force. And when I watched it when I was younger, I know I liked it. But since I put it on the list, I had caught like 20 minutes of it. And I was like, oh no. So
wonderful.
This will be interesting.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's our first Chuck Norris film. So that's good. This will probably be our biggest episode. But yeah, so that's next week, The Delta Force. So if you want to catch it, it's on Amazon Prime, brother. So don't worry. We'll have to pay for it.
Nice.
But yeah, that's it. So until then, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema.